This episode, we're talking about probably one of my favorite topics, something that's rarely talked about, especially for men, and particularly Asian men, just because of our culture of just trying to deal with it and go through with it without, talking about it. When we talk about insecurities, just things that have been giving us constant stress throughout our lives and things that have affected our mental health. And so now let me ask you, Kenny, like any insecurities you're dealing with, how are you coping with it? What are you thinking about anytime, this insecurity makes you stressed, and, why do you think that happens?
Yeah. For me, I guess throughout my entire life, weight has always been an issue. Ever since I
Same.
was like a little kid. It was to the point where I just, it affected my mentality and just my daily routines, my whole lifestyle. So putting on a lot of weight has always been, just something that I was very insecure about. Always compared my appearance with other guys like that. And that was very unhealthy for just my overall self-confidence. And it started back in like elementary, going to school and just like, I was like one of the biggest kids in the class. And that was from like elementary all the way through middle school. And from there, at that point, I was just trying to, just kept on eating. And, growing up in an Asian family, they feed you generously. And
Yes, they do.
that's one great thing about it. But at the same time, your health is really important. And, at such a young age, especially like elementary, you don't realize how much these foods really impact just your physical being. I guess in middle school, that's at that age where you try to compare yourself with other people. You watch a lot of television and you
Try to fit in, yeah.
Yeah, you try to fit in, hope to be like one of those poster models and all of that. And that's when I guess my insecurities about my weight started becoming a lot stronger and more detrimental to my mindset. And I want to bring back, I guess, that old topic that we talked about, like how my mom was in the hospital and all of that. So on top of just being insecure about my weight, I guess stress really played a toll on that insecurity as well, because when I became stressed, I started eating a lot more, and I just turned to food as my comfort. And we have that phrase, comfort food. It was definitely something that I needed. And I just kept on doing it for years and years and years. And then high school came around, and that's where, again, it shifted. And on a positive note, I got into sports and did paddling and tennis, and that allowed me to kind of just slowly work on my way of escaping from this insecurity, and to just maintain a healthy, balanced lifestyle from there. I guess my highest weight, it might not be high for a lot of people, especially here in America, where the obesity rate is pretty high. And so I was up to like 190 at my highest, and I'm also short, so like I'm like 5'5", so you put 190 and 5'5" together, it's kind of like like a wall walking around. But so a lot of like my friends and just like yeah, people would like say, "Oh, you're kind of big," you know, like especially like your family members. It's very unfiltered, so they see
Mhm.
you
They don't
and
help. They don't help at
yeah,
all. Just
yeah.
make it worse.
With like I think I don't know, Asian families they tend to be like especially like how close you guys are, they tend to be like a little bit transparent, too transparent. Filipino
Mhm.
cultures they sometimes see you and they're like, "Oh, you're getting big." It's like, and then I have to take that in, and then yeah, high school was a great time for me to get back in shape or get into shape because I was never in shape. And then college came around. That's when the idea of freshman 15 came around and
No,
had
they hit you as well.
and then yeah, forget about high school. I just picked up the weight again. Um not so much stress. It was more about um just I was living this new lifestyle here on Oahu, coming from a small town, and yeah, I was like blocks away from like McDonald's, and as a college student, you don't have a lot of finances. You don't make a lot of money, so fast
I
food
survived.
was the go-to place, and you don't really care about your health because at the end of the day you gotta eat. I eventually studied abroad, and then that was like, I mean, it was a fun experience, but I went up to like 200. So it is a journey. It is a lot of sacrifice and just yeah, just telling yourself to freaking get up and get physical or work out as much as possible. Yeah, all throughout college and studying abroad really, yeah, played a huge difference in my insecurity with my weight. I would say like the first 2 years of being out of college, trying to figure out exactly my career path and all that, I was stressed, and yeah, that didn't really help my journey of losing weight. I just maintained it for a good amount of time, and yeah, to the point where I was like also depressed. um, I would just like go to work at whatever job I had, like whether it was at a donut shop that I used to work at or like my admin job that I had. I would just go to work and then go home and just eat, binge watch. I would say like back in 2018, yeah, that's when life kind of started becoming more, um, yeah, more bright in my life, where I eventually started a job that I've always dreamed of working for, and that really told me, "Hey, you got the job that you've always wanted, and now what else are you gonna do?" That's what I told myself. So I decided to just get my health back into shape and started working out at home, and then got my gym membership. Dieting was also something like, you know, I like to think of it as like 80% nutrition, 20% fitness, because whatever you take in really affects, yeah, how your body grows. Yeah.
That's like the main difference from um, your weight fluctuations to now just the consistency in your workout and your nutrition. Would you say like
Yeah.
that would be the primary thing?
Yeah. So it was my nutrition was a lot more priority versus like my working out, because yeah, it's just I was so used to eating fast food and um, just all these greasy foods, Filipino foods. They tend to be um, not the healthiest, but they're also still delicious. So I had to kind of find alternatives into all of that, and yeah, just start working out slowly and set goals for myself. One of the biggest highlights of my life when it comes to my weight was running a marathon. I did my first full marathon back in 2019, actually. Yeah, it was a Honolulu marathon. Yeah, for those of you who haven't ran a marathon, it's like 26.2 miles. And it's crazy. I have a medal in the back of me, which I leave up. So whenever I wake up in the morning, I always look at it and I realize, wow, like you've ran a marathon. And yeah, just telling myself that anything is possible. Just like, you just got to mentally tell yourself. That was one of the goals that I had when I started like my fitness journey, just like to run a marathon. Eventually I want to like do a triathlon.
Oh,
So that's a lot of training, taking up different water activities. Like I do a lot of swimming, and yeah, just any sort of outdoor activity, hiking, to kind of keep your heart rate just, yeah,
constantly moving, huh?
pretty much. Yeah, no matter what age you are, there's always room to, yeah, do all those kind of fitness activities. Working out really, in the end, has provided me just the confidence that I needed throughout my entire life. The confidence to just go out and, yeah, accomplish whatever I want to do in my life. Like, who would have thought that I would be running a marathon or would have run a marathon? I never thought that. I have never even done a half marathon. The most I ran in my life was like freaking 3 miles. And to do that marathon, yeah, it's such an accomplishment that I just want to keep building from.
Since you're a lot fitter now, you're in shape. Has anything changed from like the mental side of things? Do you still have this like nipping bud of insecurity, trying to bring you down, or like has that improved?
Every now and then it's like I see just other people that they have like 6-packs and all that. So
Right.
I take that as not like as an insecurity. It's more of like my motivation to probably be like that. We all have different body types, and some people, it's easy for them to lose weight, whereas some other people, it's definitely a challenge. And at the end of the day, I try not to compare myself with any other people, because the biggest competition in life is yourself. And
Yes.
yeah, you just have to tell yourself, you just have to keep going, and yeah, keep going until you reach that result that you want to be at. And don't let anybody or anything stop you from, yeah, achieving your fitness goals or any goals that you have in life. Deep down inside, it's like, are you happy with yourself? That's the question that
Are you, Kenny? Are you currently happy with yourself right
I
now?
am happy with myself.
What is the final goal for you?
Mhm.
Is it just mentally being like free of the insecurity? Is it getting ridiculously jacked? What's the final goal?
Being jacked is one thing, but you can be jacked, but at the same time, you might not be happy with yourself still. So yeah, I just want to live like a healthy lifestyle, healthy mind, healthy body, healthy spirit, and yeah, trying not to compare myself with anybody else but me. And yeah,
I think that's the biggest thing. Not sure if you had it growing up, but for my family, or especially in Asian cultures, there seems to be so much comparing for some reason. like if someone else's like a neighbor's daughter or son, gets into medical school, your parents are always like, my parents specifically, they're like, oh, why? No, look at so and so, well, they're on the path to greatness, and like I don't want to put a whole lot of blame to my parents because they're great, but growing up is like you said, just the comparisons just wouldn't stop, and you can't really escape from that because you have to go home and you have to deal with your parents. And
Yep.
I felt like we had the same story. I'm really conscious about my weight as well, and I'm still, because ever since I was little, I was pretty chubby. And my parents and like the people around me would always comment on that. I would give perfect attendance, and then the first thing they would say, oh yeah, don't forget to lose some weight, or like, oh yeah, that's pretty good, but let's work on that tummy. So I felt like every significant award or achievement that I've had growing up, it got overshadowed by the fact that I was overweight. So I never really felt a sense of accomplishment. I was never really proud of my academic achievements. I think at a time like that, it just made me not want to try to strive for academic achievement, because all people seemed to care about was my weight at the time. That's all I thought, because instead of highlighting my strength, they were just looking at my weaknesses. And there's one thing to compare yourself to other people, but I think it just makes it worse when people always compare you to your weaknesses. They'll never see the best version of you if they're just focused on your weakness. And like navigating as like a child going through elementary school and middle school and high school and college, it became almost obsessive. I'm not sure if I told you this before, but like growing up, I don't know why or how this happened, but then I had this like tendency to look at people's Achilles. Like if you're really skinny, right, you can see the Achilles arch very, very well. And since I was a little heavier, like you couldn't see that, so I was just obsessive. I was just, I think it might be a mental disorder. No, it's funny now looking back, but I would look in the mirror and like,
I don't know. I have to look at mine right now.
Yeah, like if you look in the mirror, you can see the Achilles arch very, very. It's like a V, almost. It's almost like a V, and I was like, oh god, I want that V, and then I would like, I want that jawline, I want the collarbone, I want all that, and it was just like, I'm beating myself down, try to achieve those things. So sometimes maybe it's just genetic. And then other times it's just diet and then working out, which didn't help, because the same people that were giving me crap, that were like belittling me, pointing those flaws out, they're the same people feeding me. So it's like they're contributing to the cause, but it was also my fault because I was taking that and I was taking all the food in, because it made me happy. Like, for yourself, food was an escape for me, and I didn't feel comfortable anywhere unless I was, eating. So one of my routines back in the day was just like go home, drink a Coke, eat some chips, take a nap. So I think when I was in elementary, I was like 160.
Oh.
Yeah, and keep in mind I was like 4 feet something.
Yeah.
So I literally looked like a ball. It was not cute. I remember talking to girls and they would just be like disgusted with me. Maybe it was a distorted image of how I had girls looking at me, but for some reason, when I look back into like middle school and elementary, I had this image of like people having a bad view of me every time I talk to them. For some reason, I don't know why. I definitely had issues as a kid. High school, for sure. I got more confidence because in puberty, thank God. I got a little taller. I played more sports. But no matter how fit I got, like even now, no matter like how fit I got, no matter like if I got abs, you know,
Yeah.
muscles, whatever, I still feel insecure. Like I feel like sometimes, you know, this is not good enough.
Mhm.
So at like 2 a.m. in the morning or like late, early morning, I was just, you know, let's go work out, let's go for a run. And sometimes I remember in high school, like I would just starve myself just because you look in the mirror, you know, you see like, oh my God, so fat. And it's like, dude, I'm like 10% body fat. I'm pretty shredded in high school, but still, it's like it's still not good enough. There's someone else there better, you know, more fit than me. And when you said, you know, the greatest competition is yourself, which is so true, you know, I didn't channel that to be a good source of motivation. I use it as like a negative emotion because I portrayed myself. I put the image of like my perfect self, you know, like 8-pack, broad shoulders, you know, and I just created this unrealistic image of myself. And I compared that to my current self. And it's like, I'm never going to be that. And it's taken me a long time to understand that, you know, that's okay. What I need to do is enjoy the process of nutrition, consistently working out, even when I don't want to. Telling myself that it's okay if I had a cheat meal. It's okay if I eat Korean barbecue, you know. But you just gotta have the discipline to, on other days, you know, like maybe not eat fast food, not have like a snack because I love dark chocolate. And at work, they always give us dark chocolate. You know, it's like when you tell people, hey, you know, I can't eat that or I can't do that, they just do it. It's very, very annoying.
Yeah. And I guess in addition to like your surroundings, has media affected your journey with that insecurity?
Growing up, like especially elementary to high school, for sure. Um, I think I remember one of those movies was Wolverine. You know, that scene. I think it was the third one when he's fighting like Deadpool. I think it was like the flashback to that. Anyways, it was the scene where he was like coming out of this tank, and he was just like, he just like open up and he looked all shredded and everything. And I was like, I want to be like that. And then you come to find out that Hugh Jackman was starving himself. He was extremely dehydrated. And you learn like all these people that look great, they're basically killing themselves. They're at a state of like, you know, extreme hunger and extreme thirst to look like that. And they're extremely exhausted. So these realistic bodies that we look at, they're actually, you know, at their weakest form or their Photoshop. Once I learned that, you know, it's easier to just appreciate and love my body. And it's an ongoing process. You know, I'm not sure how it is for you. But for me, like I there's still that nipping bud in the back of my head, you know, like, hey, you know, you shouldn't eat this, you know, like you should eat something else. You know, like let's say I've been dieting for like 2 months now, and I want to eat some chocolate, right? I want to eat some meat, but there's the voice in the back of my head telling me, hey, you know, that's gonna make you real fat. So I try to appreciate life and just enjoy the little things, but sometimes it gets a little tough.